How many of you guys have gone canoeing before? You like canoeing? Well, canoeing's pretty fun. Lisa, she wanted to go canoeing. And she couldn't for the last while because their river had been too high and the current was too strong and she could get hurt. But her family decided one Sunday that they were going to go canoeing. And the river had opened up and they went and they rented a canoe. This was only their second time ever canoeing. But they got their canoe and they headed off out into the river. They got their life jackets on first, and they prayed that God would keep them safe. Well, they headed down the river, and here and there were some whitewater rapids, and they'd go pretty fast through them, and then they'd go out into some slower spots. And Jerry, her brother, he did not like those fast spots because he liked things to be pretty chill. But they made it through those places, and they came out into this really big, smooth area. Now, it seemed nice, but the current was still pretty strong. And they started going, and they were going faster, and they were going faster. And all of a sudden, there was a log in front of them. And so they're like, oh no, we gotta steer away from it. But they didn't know how to canoe very well. And so they tried to turn away from it, but they kept going right towards it, and all of a sudden, bam! They hit the log. And the canoe just flipped right over. Now they were all dumped out in the river, and it was cold. And the dad came up real fast, and he grabbed onto the canoe. And he was upside down, and he didn't know how to flip it right side up. But he just held onto it, and he looked around, and there was Lisa, and he grabbed her, and he pulled her over, and he just barely had her. And he looked back at the canoe, and it was flipped right side up. Now, that doesn't make any sense. Well, anyways, he just kept holding on to it, and he pulled Lisa a little closer to him, and he looked back, just trying to find where Jerry was, and he looked in the canoe, and Jerry was in the canoe. Now, how did that happen? And he was like, Jerry, how'd you get in there? And he said, I don't know. I guess my angel put me here. Well, they started looking around, and Lisa climbed up onto the log and sat on the log, and they were looking all over, and they couldn't find their mom anywhere. Well, the mom, she got sucked under the log, and she was stuck. When she went down, she realized that she was probably going to die. And so she started praying really hard. And she had her eyes closed, and she was holding her breath. She was praying, and she finished, and she opened her eyes. And do you know where she was? She was on top of the log. She was sitting on the whole other side of the log from everybody else. Whew. It was a good thing they prayed before they went, huh? Well, God had saved them. And eventually a rescue team came and got them and brought them back to shore. And they went home. They had a lot to thank God for, huh? He'd saved their lives. So remember, when you go canoeing, or when you go on a drive, or when you go hiking, make sure to pray that God will protect you. Because sometimes bad things happen, and he can send his angels to help you. Would anybody like to pray?
Dear Jesus, help us to be safe and pray before we go places. Amen.
You can go back to your seats.